Welcome to another episode of the Brown Bostonian Show. I am your host, Kevin Parrington Turner, aka the Brown Bostonian, and we are here back another week, being more consistent. Promise with that. So here we are, and then Celtics again last week they went 1-1. We're gonna start with the Kings. The Kings defeated the Celtics Friday 114-97. Jaylen Brown 28 points, Jason Tatum 15. Kristaps Porzingis 22. It was nobody was out. Wasn't no didn't have Al Horford, didn't have Payne Pritchard. They lost. As simple as that. Uh, Celtics looked flat out there, but I think the main thing for them was the shooting slump. Celtics shot 26.8% from three, 11 for 41, and that's just unlike them. Only three Celtics scored in double digits, which is unlike them. And I think that has a lot part to do with the three-pointer. And I think the Kings found a way to get pressure on the perimeter for the Celtics and not able to get too many shots off and not able to get too many ball rotations, get in the corner really well. I mean, the most scary part about it is De'Aaron Fox didn't play. It was mainly DeMar DeRozan, 24 points. Malik Monk, he scored in the 20s as well. And the Kings did what they had to do. Yes, it wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look for the Celtics, but it's kind of expected at this point in the season. You know, it's not necessarily that the midway point where we have all-star break yet. So they're kind of just pushing through, seeing what happens with Porzingis, Tatum, Brown, Payne Pritchard, how he's going to find his role now, probably taking less minutes or less of a role. You know, Jrue Holiday's playing good defense still. But as far as shooting their identity with the Missoula ball, it didn't work out. This week has been tough for the C's in terms of shooting, in terms of finding their way. I'm not necessarily sure if it's because of the defense that the opposing teams have been playing, or it's just they're off. I think there's a shared mix between the both. I mean, remember when the Celtics played against the Memphis Grizzlies, right? And they want Jrue Holiday to shoot, and he did not have a good shooting night, and they lost to the Grizzlies at home. Against John Morant, now the Grizzlies are a good team. I mean, the West has a bunch of good teams, but I think the Celtics struggled against the Kings for those exact same reasons. You got fast guards, guys who can get out and switch and rotate really well and close out on the perimeter. And the Celtics just had a poor shooting night. Now, it wouldn't be a problem if that was it, but it wasn't. I'm going to just go straight to Sunday's game where the Celtics won. They defeated the Pelicans. The Pelicans were one of the worst teams in the NBA, but they defeated them, but it wasn't a good game. It was another shooting slump for the Celtics. They shot 29% from the field, from three, and 13 for 44. If it wasn't for CJ McCollum last-second floater off the glass that rolled out, Celtics would have lost that game. The game was sort of pretty much the same thing. Now the Pelicans with Zion Williamson now back in the lineup, and he's been playing pretty well. He only has 16, but defensively and offensively, and causing issues on the boards for guys like Kristaps Porzingis, who Zion is, I would say, more stronger than. It's causing issues for the Celtics. And Trey Murphy with 30 points. He played well. Tall, athletic dude could just dunk on anybody and catch blocks and disturb any shots in the paint. And DeJounte Murray, oh my gosh, anytime he comes to plays the Celtics, I don't know why, whether he was with the Hawks, whether Spurs, it doesn't matter. He hits threes. He goes off against the Celtics. I remember the playoff series with the Hawks, and he just causes issues every time when he's in Boston. Don't know why, but he does. But nonetheless, back to the Celtics. Another shooting slump, but they struggle against, I think some teams have maybe found the formula to beating the Celtics. Now that they're in the double digits column losses, I think part of what you need to do to beat the Celtics is get a lot of fast guys, athletic guys on the floor and have them rotate, be able to rotate, get out to the corner, get out to the perimeter and defend. It's not necessarily the offense which you need with the C's, because even though the Celtics do play very good defense, what I see a lot of times when you shoot the three, it's long shot, long rebound. You learn that at an early age playing basketball, which means if it's a missed shot and you can test it well, it's going to be a long rebound. If it's a long rebound, that means it's easier to get in transition. And I think a lot of teams have been getting transition really well. And that's something the Kings and the Pelicans do. I mean, Western Conference teams are really good at get into transition and fast breaks and scoring alley oops and kicking it out to the perimeter, getting a good looking three, or just getting a good looking drive to the basket and transition off of missed threes. And I think that's what a lot of teams are doing. Is trying to find out that about that from the Celtics. Obviously, I think Jaylen Brown's also been in a little bit of a shooting slump, even though he's been scoring really well. Drew Holiday's obviously been a shooting slump. Payne Pritchard's kind of hitting a wall. I still think he's a sixth man of the year, but hitting a little bit of a wall. I mean, Al Horford is a little older. He has spots on the floor. He's not getting off the dribble. He has spots in the corner, at times on the wing, but mostly in the corner for the extra pass. So, I think teams are starting to figure it out. I think Jason Tatum has still been him. He's still scoring. He had 38 against the Pelicans, and 11 rebounds. Porzingis, 19 points and 11 rebounds. 5 Celtics were able to score in double digits, and this was a different looking game than what we're accustomed to. And the C's found a way to win it. I like these type of games where when things didn't go right and the 3-point shot did not go right. And also, they haven't been able to hit 50 shots like they usually do every game. Put up 53s a game. They haven't been able to. They've been shooting in the low 40s, in the mid 40s, which is unlike them. But yet they found a way to win this one. They found a way to pull it out. Jason Tatum played big. He was the guy down the stretch. I think Jaylen Brown kind of has been taking a little bit of a step back. I think defensively he's been really well, but offensively, he's doesn't seem as aggressive. It's either he's shooting or he's getting in transition. I would like to see him shoot a little bit more of the mid-range jumpers and get more into his bag as he did last year at times, not all the time, because I do think it's Jason Tatum's team. But for the Celtics, yeah, that's what it is. So, I mean, the main points from this week for the Celtics has been the shooting slumps and has been their struggle against the West. They have been struggling against Western Conference teams all season. When it comes to the East, no problem. They beat the Cavs. They lost to the Cavs too, but they beat the Cavs. They beat the Knicks, smoked them the first game of the season. They beat the Bucks. Like, it seems at this point, it seems almost like regular for them to beat the Bucks. They got the Raptors next. The East is not the problem. They beat the Pacers. They beat the East. They're controlling the East. I don't struggle thinking that the Celtics are going to come out of the Eastern Conference at all. I don't see any team in the East that could beat the Celtics 4 times out of 7. It's the West that might be an issue. Remember, they lost to the Thunder. They lost to the Grizzlies. They lost to the Kings. And, they struggle. They lost to the Warriors. And now the Warriors have taken a dip in a sense. It's been like that. With the Western Conference teams getting out in transition and be able to get quick shots and drive to the basket, which when you got to play Steph Curry, that's what's going to happen. He's going to get some shots off eventually. He's going to knock some down. When you got to face DeMar DeRozan, you got to face, a Trey Murphy, these athletic DeJounte Murray and Zion, these really athletic guys that in transition, they can catch a poster, a real poster. It's going to cause problems. And I think the Celtics right now, they're kind of facing the same, I think a little bit of the same issues the Knicks are facing. With the Knicks play a lot of minutes for their starting guys. Now, the Celtics don't necessarily play as much minutes as the Knicks because the Knicks starting 5 is playing a lot. And now you see Cat hurt and everything going on over there. But I do think right now it's been kind of a slump where like one guy is really playing really well, which was Cat. For the Knicks and for the Celtics, it's been Tatum or it's been Brown, and with Kristaps Porzingis coming back from injury and Payne Pritchard off the bench, kind of it's hard for him to get going because now with the rotation kind of changing up with Kristaps Porzingis back in the lineup and Al Horford out of the starting 5 too, it's still taking some adjustment, and I think the Celtics are going to figure it out definitely before the break, but. Right now, when it comes to the Western Conference teams, it's tough. It's hard. They, on their West Coast trip, they did pretty well. They didn't do bad. They went 3 for 1, but I think the Kings loss it's kind of raised an eyebrow of like, well, this team that was just behind the Cavs just a couple of games and now behind them about 5.5 games. I don't know. It's not a raised concern for me, but I can see how it can be for some. I do. That's it. That's all I got for the Celtics at this point. Keeping it quick, keeping it simple, keeping it short. They play against the Raptors tonight, 7:30 p.m. I expect that to be a win. I expect it to be a game full of getting back into the three bags. I don't see the Raptors being able to stop them. I see them knocking down shots. I see Drew Holiday get going. I see Payne Pritchard get going. Tatum doing what he does. Jaylen Brown does what he does. Kristaps Porzingis getting his shots going and getting some points in the paint, being able to defend the rim, which he can when the matchup is right. And I hope Al Horford kind of gets going a little bit. I'd like to see him score like 10 and 12 if possible. I think that would be a perfect thing for him because he's used to, in the beginning of the season playing a good amount of minutes. And with Kristaps Porzingis, he's playing less, which is good, but I'd like to see him hit some threes, get going a little bit just to get his confidence up. But yeah, we'll see tonight. I expect a blowout one over the Raptors, but we'll see. You never know. They could play hard. Next, last one, we're gonna have to go to the Patriots. Mike Vrabel named Patriots head coach. Saw it happen. Saw it coming. I said this last week. Jerome Mayo was fired after a season. Not a good season from the Patriots, but like I said before, I don't think he was set up for success. And I said that before the season. I don't like that we hire black coaches when they're not set up for success, when guys want to leave, when you're coming off seasons of somewhat success and veteran plays, and now the veterans retired, and now the star defensive guy Matthew Judon wants to leave before the regular season starts, and now it's a bad season. Now you got a rookie quarterback, and you don't play him until midway point because your offensive line isn't good, so you don't want him to get hurt too. That many hits early in the season. And now look what happens. And you're hoping for the future. You're looking into the future, and who knows if Gerard Mayo was told not to play Drake May yet. That's happened. We've seen with Flores in Miami that sometimes the owners will come down and say something to the head coach like, yo, we're trying to lose games. We're trying to tank. We're trying to do this. So don't play this player. Don't do this. Don't, we're trying to get a nice draft pick. And that's what the Patriots have now. They have a good draft pick, and now they're kind of set up for some building. Now we know that Drake May's good. Ramondre Stevenson, if he stays, we know he's pretty good. We know the struggles. The offensive line is the struggles. And if you got a good offensive line, hopefully we can also get Drake May some weapons on the outside. We got the quarterback. So now we know. So now we know the holes, whereas last year we didn't really know it for sure yet. Special teams, special teams is always kind of like an effort thing that I don't think you necessarily pick up. You don't pick up in the draft per se. You don't necessarily pick up in trades. I mean, you can get that. You can get that with guys coming out of college that just want to play hard and get the right coaching for special teams. But they had a hole in special teams. And on defense, the secondary, okay, when they only have to defend and guard a wide receiver for a couple of seconds, but they got to get pressure on the ball, which the Patriots did not be able to do because they didn't have Matthew Judon and they had some injuries. So now that we know the holes, and it's like, okay, now it's time to build, and now they switch to Mike Vrabel. Now, Mike Vrabel, what gets me mad about it too is because Mike Vrabel and Jerome Mayo both played for the Patriots as linebackers, and it's like, I get it. Mike Vrabel has a longer history of being a head coach, which is why I also didn't like the Jerome Mayo pick. It's like this guy doesn't have a head coaching history, and if I'm not mistaken, in college, definitely not the NFL, college or high school. And it's like you're going to throw him into probably one of the most prestigious franchises with the craziest fan base. If you lose in his first year, you're setting him up for failure. With no help, you're setting him up for failure. But now he's gone, and now you pick Mike Vrabel. It's going to look like, okay, he was the good choice to pick. He does have history. He's been in the linebackers, head coaching. He's been around the league as doing the coaching, doing consulting. Spent 6 years with the Titans. That's what I remember most about his coaching tenure. 3 consecutive playoff years. The furthest he's gotten to the AFC Championship in his second year. and they lost to the Chiefs. And then right after that, they missed two playoffs, 2 consecutive seasons. They missed the playoffs, and then he was out of there. Look, I think Mike Vrabel's going to do a good job. I think he's going to do a great job. I think the defense is going to be tough. They're going to look like New England. They're going to stop the run fairly well. The secondary is going to be talented. They're going to be tough. They're going to play smash mouth defense. I think offensively, running the ball, getting the ball out to the tight ends. I think it's going to be pretty simple. I think Drake May is going to do really well. And I think the special teams is going to be tough. Not as much mistakes as you've seen this past year with the special teams for New England. So I do think it's going to look good. I think this Patriots are going to be a 500 team, maybe. Obviously, there's no 500 team if it's an odd number of games, but I just think they flirt around the 500 mark with 9-8, that type of record or something like that. We'll see. That's why I have to go. I think you see that they're going to be two games, 3 games below 500, or maybe a game or two over 500. That's what I got for the Patriots. But we'll see as the season progresses, as the offseason progresses, as the NFL draft progresses. We'll see what happens, who they choose, where they choose to concern, who they want to pick, and we'll go from there. But like I said, I did not like how the situation with Jerome Mayo played out. But it is what it is. That's sports. But yeah, that's it, man. That's all I got for this week. I'll see you guys next week. That's it for the Brown Bostonian. I am trying to be more consistent, like I always say. Please log on to brownbostonian.com, log on to APP, Asbury Park Press, all those good stuff that I'm getting into as well. And I appreciate it so much. A lot of good things coming soon. A lot of vlogging too. Been on it, just throwing it out, just bringing it all out. But I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all next week. We'll see how the Celtics do. We'll see if there's any more news with the Patriots. We'll see if there's some news with the Red Sox, But all right, peace.